Bootleg action figures just keep getting better, and this new CT Toys Batman is a perfect example of it. But why is their shipping so horrible? Let's open it up, check it out, and of course do some toy photography. That's my CT Toys Batman bootleg came in the mail. That's how it came. That's like the worst. I've never had anything come. So this, I can't even. I've never ever received a package this completely, horribly destroyed. Like, how? Like, you would need to park a 18-wheeler on top of this and leave it there for a couple days for it to get this flat. Like, look at that! CT Toys. If you want me to take you even more seriously, if you ship your things in a cardboard box, I might take you even more seriously. Or just seriously at all. I love you. I really do. But this is why this will always be a bootleg. Okay, we're going to put a Darth Maul Coke right there. And we're going to lead them up. And we're going to go do this video. Well, anyway, this right here is a bootleg action figure of the Mafex Hush figure by CT Toys. And if you're unfamiliar with this brand, CT Toys, what they've been doing is putting out really great, like really great bootleg versions of these really highly sought after, very expensive Mafex figures and putting them out for very cheap, from like 20 and now around 30 or even $40. This guy was about 40 bucks. Which is still a huge price decrease from its typical actual legitimate figure, which is right here. And this is probably the one I've been most excited for out of all of the CT Toys. One, because it's their first DC product, I think it is. And I've always been a DC guy. I love all the ones they've been doing, the Spider-Mans and stuff, but I love Batman and Superman a whole lot more, so this excites me even more. Plus, I've got the figure, original one, to compare it with. It's not the black one, it's the blue one, but we can still do the comparisons, which is great. And I quite love this figure very much, which makes me even more curious about it. So the last several CT Toys figures I've been very impressed with, and they even had the off-brand different one by Mess Toys or whatever that was really great. Like, I really loved it. And oh wait, I'm just noticing, does it say Bayman Lush on it? Oh, it's just the H is hidden behind Batman? Interesting. Well, anyway, I've loved all of them, so I'm pretty pumped for this one. And, you know, CT Toys, some people even say, it's not a bootleg anymore, it's third party. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. But until they start putting things in boxes, or even, I don't know, bubble wrap. This was just shipped to me in just one of those poly mail or those plastic envelopes. When they start doing that, maybe I'll take them seriously enough and I'll stop saying bootleg. Nah. They're boots, but we love boots in this house, so there's nothing wrong with saying it's a boot. We got ourselves a boot here. And of course, if you're interested in picking this figure up, I will have the link in the description to pick it up. That link will bring you to this specific store on AliExpress for Funly whatever. That's the official CT Toys and Mess Toys store. So as long as you're getting them from there, you should be getting the correct bootlegs. They're still boots, but it's not a bootleg of a bootleg. I don't know, that's the right way to do it. So anyway, let's just open this box up, if it's even openable, without tearing it apart, and see what this bootleg is all about. So if you've ever ordered any of these CT Toys or bootlegs, have you gotten anything similar to this? Like, has your packaging ever been this damaged before? Do they usually come in boxes for you? Sometimes they come wrapped in bubble wrap, and sometimes they just don't. They just have that little mailer. So I'm very curious. Has anyone ever had one this bad? I'd be very curious to know. Well, to my surprise, and probably yours too, he seems completely unscathed. He does not seem to be any bit damaged at all by how screwed up the packaging quite was. And man, I'm really curious, did somebody really park their car on top of that for a week or so? But it seems pretty good. I've been opening up quite a few of these CT Toys lately, and I think it's just on par with all of those. I don't think this is going to be any better. As far as I can tell from moving it around and stuff, it doesn't seem any better than that Wolverine that was really great, and that more recent Spider-Man that was really great too. He just seems pretty solid. No weird imperfections, no bent like bow-leggedness. The joints all seem nice and tight and they move around. It feels like a CT Toys Mafex. Doesn't feel quite like a Mafex. There's always a little bit of that squeak, you know? You hear that squeak? there's always a little bit of that squeak.
Squeaky, squeaker, squeaking.
And I guess that's not a problem. And he looks good. The face sculpt looks pretty good. And the cape also looks great as well. And it feels good. It seems quite functional. I'm not sure if it's quite as functional as the other one. On the sides, that seems really good. But the wires in the middle here, they don't really seem to hold their weight at all. Like if I were to try and stick this up, it just falls right down. So that's not really super helpful, but it is still pretty cool. This is probably the first soft good I've ever used, or with CT toys with soft goods. It's the first time I've really gotten to try them out, and so far so good. I'm not impressed, but I think that's only because they've already gave me very high expectations, because they've put out really good stuff before. So I'm not impressed so far, but my expectations are met. You know, it looks good. So we've got some accessories with this guy, and number one, we've just got an extra face. We don't have a Bruce Wayne head, but I don't think that the original Mafex one did. But this is a nice intense face. Let's see how popping it. Very nice. That was incredibly easy. That was really, really easy. Okay, great. This gun here, which is the grappling hook, which this does pop out. Oh, actually, that pops out both ways. I think it's supposed to come out the other way, but they come out of the gun. There we go. And there's also a much longer grappling hook, which this is a wire, and I'm pretty sure this bends. Yeah, you can bend that to your liking, but I always get scared bending these. Like, I feel like they're gonna break. And I feel like once I bend it, it's never gonna go back to that perfectly straight line that it was in, because it's such a thick wire. Come on. Ugh. See, I already can't. It's stuck. I'm screwed forever. But there's two of these grappling hook guns that are attached to the hand. If you want to have them shooting it, you can do that. And speaking of hands, we've got quite a few of them. Right here, we've got actually a lot of hands. So we've got 2 fists on him already, but we've got some very open hands, grabby looking hands. We've got 2 hands that have batarangs in between the knuckles, which is cool. So that's definitely a very classic Batman thing if he's throwing multiple batarangs. Then we've got some almost open fists, and so you could probably hold batarangs in them, and then some other slightly opened and relaxed hands too for holding batarangs and other stuff. So pretty cool. That's a lot of hands actually. And so speaking of all those batarangs to hold, there are 2 different kinds of batarangs. There are these more, I don't know, aerodynamic curved looking ones, and there's also a Venom that is included in all of these videos. Hey buddy, how you doing? Why don't you lay down right there? Don't knock that over. There you go. Good boy. And so these are 2 very regular looking batarangs here. And so they look pretty good. They look quite good. So he comes with the gargoyle also, which is typical with the black version of the Hush figure. So the blue one that I bought a while ago did not come with this, so that's kind of cool. And now I have that. So if you want to use it, you gotta include the stand that it comes with. You know, even though these are still so much cheaper than the usual Mafex, but they still end up coming with the stand. So here's the normal stand, which these are still end up being pretty good stands. You know, the bootleg CT toy version. If you take this base out, toss that, and stick it in there, and then now you've got more of a typical stand for him. So if we were to pose him up, put him right on there, then he's good to go. And there we go. It's not perfect. I'm sure I could probably have done a better job, but it looks pretty straightforward. It looks kind of like the cover, it does. Especially when you're able to get the cape to wrap around him like that. It looks pretty good. I'm actually kind of happy with that. Good job, CT Toys. You did good copying the Mafex. That did good too. Right, Venom? All right. So how is articulation? I would say it's pretty good. If you've bought any of these CT toys, I think you're gonna be pretty happy with it. You know, you're getting the typical Mafex articulation. You know, sometimes people say these are just as good as a Mafex. But they're not. They're close, but they're not. Articulation, though, I would say is just as good. So all those butterfly joints, getting those wings way back there, like that's cool. Like that's a cool Batman pose right there. Like, isn't that cool? And knees are great too. You know, just sometimes the joints don't move quite as smooth or quite as beautifully as a Mafex would, but it's still, I think you can get the same poses. I really do think you can. One thing I already kind of mentioned is that, yeah, like the cape is really cool, but these, the wires in the back don't really support themselves. I don't know if they're really connected to the back of the figure, so they can't really stand straight up, which is a little unfortunate. They just kind of plop down. But, you know, clearly you can still get some cool looking cape stuff with this, you know, like, how cool is that? And as far as posing in general, I think you're gonna get yourself some cool looking poses with Batman. There's so much to work with here. It's really quite great. All right then. Well, as far as height, I don't think any size was really compromised with this bootleg. It's just about at the 6-inch mark. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. Sometimes, you know, they would be smaller with the newer mold, stuff like that, but I don't think that's an issue anymore. So here we go. This, whoa, hang on, we got colliding capes over here. This right here is the original Mafex, and this is the first one that came out, the blue and gray, and then the black and gray came out a little bit later, and this is when I picked it up way back there. And as I was messing around with this for the past, you know, hour or so, I started messing around with him again, and I'm like, oh wow, this feels so much better. The quality is definitely pretty great on the CT toys, it really is, but it's not matched to the Mafex. The Mafex is still better, significantly. You know, just the joints move nice, it's smooth. Getting him to stand up is just so easy. And all of those things I was talking about with the cape, like all of those extra wires work great on this. Like there's no issue like at all, and that's great. And you know, if you're looking at some of the really fine details of the figure, like the, you know, the bat symbol and all of that, it looks so much more smooth and polished and perfect than this one does, and that's fine. You know, the plastic is a nice matte soft finish, which this one doesn't have, and like I said, that's fine. This is a $40 bootleg. You know, these used to be $20, but you know, there's a very, very complex cape going on, so I get all of that. So I think for a bootleg, it's really great, really great. So if you're comparing them, no, it's not as good as the Mafex, obviously, but that's okay. It's a whole lot cheaper than the Mafex. So this is the other CT Toys Spider-Man that I've done, one of the many ones, and also a really good looking bootleg, which now he's standing. And we've got Wolverine right here too, which was at the time I thought the best looking bootleg ever, really, until I stumbled upon this guy. This is the Mess Toys one, and there's a few other Mess Toys ones going around. There's like a red one, I don't know, but I'm probably not gonna pick it up. But this is still, I think, the best bootleg ever. I mean, call it a bootleg, whatever, it's an unlicensed, whatever, I don't know, it doesn't matter what you call it, but this is still the best, in my opinion, best bootleg ever. So I would say this Batman is on par with these other ones that I thought were great, just not quite on this level yet, and that's fine. More expensive than these two right here, but cheaper than this one. But this one's got a big cape, so I get that, definitely get that. Okay, what's the verdict? Should we give him a W or should we give him an L? Well, as far as the packaging is concerned, well, the design of the box and packaging, that's not an L. I mean, the box was fine, just the shipping, there we go. The shipping is a huge L. That was so horrible. God, I can't even believe that. Like, I still would love to know what happened. It still made it to me at least, so that's fine. Venom is over here. I don't know what he's thinking right now. He doesn't seem like he's grumpy, so I think he's gonna give it a W. So I think I'm gonna give it a W too. Do you think so also, buddy? Yeah, I'm gonna give him a W. I think he's a great bootleg. Price of the bootlegs are going up. Yeah, there's tariffs, I get that too. And this has an extra cape that also will increase the price a whole lot more than something like a Spider-Man would, because he doesn't have a cape. So I get it. Just a good old W. Not a crazy W, but you know, just a good old W. So what do you think? Would you give him a W, an L? Are you liking them? I'm very curious to know. I'm also very excited for the Superman. They haven't announced it yet, but if they did him, then what's up? I'm sure we're doing Superman soon. Come on. All right, so let's do some toy photography with him. I haven't been to that abandoned place in a while. That'd be fun. I'm not sure. There's a lot of different options I could do with this Batman, but let's go and take a shot. All right, so I'm in a spot here. It's a little bit loud, so hopefully my microphone's doing okay. Oh, there's a train. Hang on. My Amazon package is in there. Okay, here I am. I'm in this spot that I used to come all the time. Actually, I did a photo of Spider-Man up on top of this bridge recently. I did a photo of Sub-Zero over there, but years ago I took a photo of the other Mafex Batman here. And I kind of had it overlaying in the earlier part of the video, which made me think I should go back there. That's a pretty cool spot. And here I am. I'm in Guilderland, New York. This is like French's Hollow. Anyone who recognizes this place knows it. It's a really cool place. Graffiti, And I feel like I'm being a little risky right now, but I still feel pretty safe. I've got Batman up here right now. He's on one of the Mezco stands, just like this. And I'm using some lighting underneath him. These are two Lume Cube Panel Pros. It's holding him in place, and it's also like lighting him from the bottom. So when I take the photo, I'm gonna be trying to do something like from either down here or over there. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not gonna be able to see any of this stuff. This is all gonna be hidden because I'm gonna be at a below angle, and it's also gonna be lighting him up quite nicely. The wind is blowing, but it's a pain in the butt, but it's not so bad because everything's kind of locked in. I feel really good. And I'm gonna get a lot of the bridge in the background. There'll be some greenery in the background too, but oh well. I guess that's not a huge deal. Batman's more urban than greenery, but whatever. What I'm gonna do is just kind of fool around in different areas and just try to get a cool shot. I'm not gonna use a tripod, I'm just gonna hold it, and I'm gonna be careful not to fall and die, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. So my settings aren't really anything crazy. I'm at 2.5 for my aperture, which is the lowest that this 40mm lens can go. This lens will be great because it's a little bit wider and it's easier to hold. It's just gonna work perfectly for this shot. But my shutter speed's at 640, which is just kind of like darkening it up a bit. I don't really need anything fast. It's just kind of working because it's so very bright out, but oh well. And my ISO's at 400. So I'm gonna go hang out with Batman for a little bit and get some cool angles, and then the editing will be very easy, but whatever, I don't know, I'm just gonna take a bunch and see which one I like the best, and that'll be the one I go with. So let's go. All right, let's do a quick post-photo breakdown of Batman flying around the bridge, all that good stuff. And this is the final product. I think it's really fun. I don't think this is like, wow, what an incredible piece of photography. I think it's cool because of, oh, I just stuck this under a bridge and took a picture. Like, that's, I think, what's fun about it. If I did this at night, it might have even looked better, but I'm still very happy with it. I had so much fun doing this. It just feels very tangible. This is actually the original photo, and I did quite a bit to it. I cropped it, adjusted a bunch of the colors. It was way too bright. It is still pretty bright. Also, my bag was right there in the photo, which doy. And of course, I removed the stand over here, but I've really just tried to make it still feel like a darker-ish kind of day or night, I guess. I also went and tried to get some rim lighting to the cape because the cape is black, and then of course he's underneath a dark bridge, so it's kind of hard for the cape to pop. But overall, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's really fun. And also, by the way, I did like so many different photos. Look at all these different shots, like so many, and which was so much fun, just trying to figure out what the right one was, you know. Either way, I'd love to know what you think. Give me some critiques as always, and let's just run the end of the video. So CT Toys gives us another W boot. We love boots so much, especially when they're great like this and they're cheap. You know, it's kind of hard to beat that. But if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. This photo is going to be posted up onto Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that stuff. If you want to follow my work on any of those platforms, it's all linked in the video description below. And thank you so much for watching and getting this far into the video. And I hope to see you in the next one.